Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Welcome back to Football Worldwide. It's time to talk culture. It's time to talk Serie A, and it's match day 31. We're getting right down to the nitty-gritty part of the season. Very exciting, very nerve-wracking for some teams. Very relaxing as well for some teams in the mid-table. So let's talk a little bit about the results over the weekend. And I want to give a huge shout out and thank you already to my friends Michael, Adam, and Jaxon, who have sent in fan cams to take the heat off me a little bit, because we all don't want to hear my voice for too long. But we'll quickly wrap up this Serie A match day 31. And yeah, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And if anybody decides to come into the chat, let me know if you are here. It's very impromptu, live on a very early, wet morning in southwest Sydney. So let's do this. The first things first, slip up at the top from Milan. Not the result they were looking for, but at this point of the season, every game is a hard game. Thank you very much, Gerald, for coming into the chat and coming over from the Interworldwide chat. I know you've done that. Thank you, bro. Milan dropping points here is not a huge deal, I think, to them, because they need to expect to drop a couple of games before the end of the season. It all depends on how they sort of recover. In my opinion, they were due for a bad result. Those kits are horrendous. Everybody has made every paint joke in the book, but I'm going to add one more. I've genuinely got shirts that look like that, because when I painted my house and I just dropped a bunch of paint on some shirts, I just thought to myself, I'll just keep these for the next time I paint. And they actually look like that. They're really, really bad. I hope they don't wear them too often for the sake of their fans. But into regards to the game, Bologna played well. Arnautovic had a couple of chances. They moved the ball around quite well, but it was definitely Milan who had the better rub of the chances. 33 shots, I think, altogether that they attempted, but they could not land one on target. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the warrior, having to be bandaged up as well towards the end of the game. And that puts Milan still in the driver's seat, but with a 2-point less differential going into the next match day, which they face Torino, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to double check that just to make sure I don't get anything wrong on this stream. But if it is true that they do face Torino away, that could present another problem for this Milan side. We all know that Inter went to Torino, didn't perform well, and drew the game. Yet Monday, 4:45 a.m., Milan's next opponent is Torino. They need to go there and get a win, because if they don't get a win, then they do risk going into a slump at possibly the worst stage of the season. Gerald comes in with a question and says, do you think a club out of the current top four can still make the top four? No, I just think the damage is done already. Juventus have gotten more than enough points. It's more so the form of the other sides. Like, God forbid Atalanta should capitalize once this season and try and close that gap. They're shocking. I don't even want to see Atalanta make the top 5 or 6. I hope both Roman clubs dump them out. The dream would be for Jose Mourinho and Roma to go on a massive run until the end of the season, bar maybe the game against us, and yeah, take that 4th position. But I really don't think it's happening at all. I really don't think it's happening. Let's move on to the next game. Fantastic stuff here. I love to see this. Diego Simeone's son, Giovanni Simeone, making sure that Genoa pretty much don't get cozy at all. I must be one of the only people that doesn't really want Genoa to stay up in the league. I just think that they've been really poor for so long. This was a game that I thought they might be able to get more than 0 points out of, but with still 1 win in their last 5, they're 7 points from safety. Sorry, not 7. They're 3, because Cagliari's in 17th. They're only 3 points from safety, but with a tough fixture list coming up for them, it's going to be very, very hard for Genoa. Their next game is against Lazio, and you can almost guarantee that they won't walk away with more than a single point. They then have Milan at the San Siro as well. It's not looking great for Genoa at the moment. So let's move on to the next game. Actually, you know what? We'll take a short break from the slideshow, and we'll actually go into one of our fan cams. There's actually 6 people joining me here today, which is actually quite nice. Let me know in the comments if you have come along to this platform today and are joining me, because it's time to go to one of the fan cams. Who should we choose first? Let's go with our friend Adam. So the result, Roma, great 3 points. Henrik Mkhitaryan won't score an easier goal all season. They score in the first half and make sure that they've got the points there. Mourinho, I'm pretty sure they're unbeaten in 10 now in the league. Let's see what Adam has to say. Take it away, champ.
Buonasera a tutti. The streak continues. What can I say? Roma's unbeaten a run in Serie A now stretches from the 10th of January to the present day, which is remarkable considering the ups and downs we've had throughout the season. So I'll enjoy it. It was another a solid win away to Sampdoria in Genoa, which is hasn't been a happy hunting ground for us over the last few seasons. But and it wasn't the prettiest game either. Apart from that goal, which was one of the best work goals we've seen this season in terms of passes. I think we got to 18 or 19 passes before that ball hit the back of the net. So. Look, extraordinary run, but credit to Mourinho. It was Mourinho ball to a T this game. For anyone that watched it, it wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing game you'll see this season, but we went there and we got the job done and went home with the 3 points. Henrik Mkhitaryan is what I wanted to focus in on today. Just quickly, there's talk now of him. Extending his contract amongst the Romanisti. If you had asked us at the beginning of the season whether we get to this point and we want to renew him at his age, we probably would have, probably erred on the side of caution and said no because of this project and what we're building towards. But you know what? Since Mourinho deployed him in his current position where he's playing a little bit more advanced, we've seen the fruits of that. And because of that, I think our tune has certainly changed, and he's one that we really need to lock in for next season. There's going to be a bit of toing and froing in relation to his wages, because any kind of Mino is going to command or try and grapple and as much as he can out of the club. So we'll see what happens there, and we'll watch that with interest. But he's definitely one that we need to lock in for next season, especially if these rumours are true in relation to Zaniolo moving on. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Apart from that, more controversy, and I hate to bring this up again, but we speak about it every week. The refereeing, that VAR decision in Torino that went in favour of Inter this week. I think it was a little bit farcical when you consider that there's been similar instances throughout the season where teams, have missed penalties or scored them, and there's been encroachment and it hasn't been pulled up. Either you penalise teams for that encroachment, you're consistent, or you don't, and you just get on with it. There was a similar one with our club at the Juventus Stadium earlier in the season where Veretout missed a penalty, and Chiellini was involved in that next action where he cleared the ball, and there was no retake. I'm not saying there should have been, but if we're gonna have one of them retaken, we should have them all retaken. But just more controversy, more to sort of dissect at the end of the season in terms of where improvement can be made across this league, because at the moment there's no consistency at all in the officiating, whether it is on field or with the VAR. So that's my take on that. Until next week, we've got some interesting fixtures coming up. Inter and Napoli still to play. But this week we go to Norway again, and to Bodo, which was the ground where we copped an absolute spanking last time, 6-1. So it will be interesting to see what happens this time in the knockout type scenario, whether Jose goes for an ultra defensive model to try and sort of not see a repeat of what happened last time, and then try and get him in the return leg in Rome. Conference League football's back. We're still involved. I'm excited now that we've reached the knockout stages, and hopefully we can get something out of it. But all good. Until next time, guys, for the love of culture, see you, and we'll catch you soon. Forza Roma.
Grazie, Adamo. Fantastic. Well said, man. I can't wait for that fixture against the Norwegian side as well. What a bizarre result that was in the group stage of the Conference League for Roma. I think they'll turn it around and absolutely shock that other opposition. Almost get vendetta in a way. And Adam's right. They're in the business end of a competition where nobody really wants to be in. But if you can get to the business end and Jose can get a trophy under his belt in order to propel that momentum forward to next season for Roma, I think that's the main goal. If they could even lock down fifth on the Serie A ladder, I think just psychologically that would go a long way for the club as well. Man, talk about a strong psyche. This result is the most impressive one of the match day. Napoli has gone to Bergamo and absolutely whooped the shit out of Atalanta. Excuse my language, but there's no other way to say it. Atalanta have been the most disappointing side this season. I know for a fact that a few people that are on the Roundtable regularly would agree with us as well. Dominance early from Napoli to earn that penalty, and Captain Insigne strikes at home, 1-0. Matteo Politano, crisp as you like, with a little bit of a dummy free kick, chip over the top, and then a slot in the corner. It was absolute like clockwork, man. It was like clockwork. It was really, really nice to see. Matteo Politano, he's had a really, really good season. He'll never be that world beater. He'll never be that quality that you need to even step it up to the national team, although some might argue he should have been in that squad. But Matteo Politano does the business there. Napoli do the business as well. Conceded a goal back, but Elmas, crisp as you like to finish the game off. They are moving. Napoli are moving, and they're just doing fantastic stuff. They do have some tough games coming up. They host Fiorentina next, and then I'm pretty sure they host Roma after that. Yep, and then away to Empoli. So by no means is it going to be easy for Spallettone and his men, but in second position on 66 points, 4 wins in their last 5, 56 goals scored now after being a little slow with the goal scoring in the last few games. Napoli are at peak level at the right point of the season. So you kind of love to see it. You really do love to see it. Well done to them. I think that they can keep it up until the end, but it remains to be seen. Any sort of mistakes and any sort of slip-ups now are just, very much so punishable. Let's go on to another great photo there for the Napoli fans celebrating. They do seem like a team in unity, don't they? They really, really do. All right, time for derby talk. Bragging rights for me and for any other Inter fans out there. We defeated Juventus by 0-1. Our first win at the Allianz Stadium since Stramaccioni was coaching us, and I'm really, really happy about this result. It's hard to not be happy about this result. We were not great. We were quite poor for majority of the period of the game, but we stole an Allegri game playing Allegri ball, and there's absolutely nothing to be ashamed about with that. In my opinion, the incidences of the game, let's recap them quite quickly before we go to the fan cams. I think that the only legitimate shout for a penalty for Juventus is the slight nudge on Zakaria from Bastoni, although I do think it's way, way, way too soft. The foul on Dumfries in the box is legit. Morata stepping on his foot, absolute idiot, to be honest. It's a typical non-defender's challenge in a dangerous area. Dumfries was going absolutely nowhere. He was on the edge of the box. It was either going to be turned over for a goal kick or it was going to go out for a corner at best with a deflection, and we got a goal out of it. In terms of taking the penalty again, it is what it is, but why don't they just be a little bit more select? The players have been getting away with it all season running into the box. You got to be more consistent. We can harp on about this week in and week out, but we need consistency with the VAR. So Inter, a little fortunate in that one, yeah, but it also makes up for the phantom penalty on Dumfries that didn't exist in the first game of the season in the 88th minute. And now Juve, it's going to take a lot for them to get back into this title race now. I'm not going to say they're 100% out of it, but they pretty much need to win every game until the end of the season, and they've still got some tricky fixtures coming up. Plus the Coppa Italia second leg and final. So looking at their fixtures to come, next week they will go up against Cagliari in Sardinia. You expect them to win, but Cagliari might also be hungry for points. Juventus are about 1 or 2 games away, I think, from having to settle for that 4th position, 100%. But we'll see what happens there. Next season, that I expect them to be a lot stronger with Zakaria. I really rate him. He taught Inter a new one when he came on the pitch for Locatelli. And yeah, comment here from Armin. Juve players were disgusting as usual. We got 3 points, and I don't care. I wouldn't say that, bro, but I definitely don't care that we got the 3 points. Well done to us. Let's go over to our second fan cam of the day. We're going to go over to our friend Jaxon to give it to us from an Inter fan point of view. Thank you, bro.
What's up, guys? It's Jaxon for Inter Worldwide. Thank you for having me again. Now, let's get straight into it. Fantastic game. I mean, well, look, the game wasn't fantastic. We can both agree to that. Very scrappy. The refereeing was a bit, hey, how you going? But listen, the good teams get results, and that's what we did. We got the result that we needed to get, and that's the main thing. We walk away with the 3 points. This is the first time since 1961-62 season that Juve have failed to beat any of the top 3 teams. So look, they're making history themselves. We're making history. We're just on the right side of history. Now, The game was scrappy. We can both agree to that, okay? There was bits of the game where Inter played absolutely horribly. There were bits of the game where Juve played absolutely horribly. We've seen that with Allegri quite a lot this season. I'm a big Serie A fan. Obviously, I follow Inter, but I do like to watch other games. I keep my ear to the ground. But watching Juve play sometimes, it's infuriating. It's very negative. I don't like it, okay? So, look, I think he can't have too many complaints about the game. Moving forward, obviously, picking up the 3 points was huge. But, I mean, we've got Verona next week. So, look, we can't get too ahead of ourselves because this league is so tight at the moment. Teams are dropping points here and there, everywhere. Igor Tudor's got that team really well drilled. So, look, I'm only looking to the next game, to the next game, to the next game. Picking up 3 points against Juve is huge. I mean, it's a massive confidence booster, but Verona are a real tough team. Simeone is scoring for fun at the moment. So, look, Skriniar's got another big game where he's going to have to put someone else in his pocket. Now, I think we all deserve an apology to Inzaghi because, look, there was parts of that game where I felt he got lucky, sure, but he has weathered this storm really well. And now let's remember that at the start of the season, he was tasked to finish in the top 4, get out of the group stage of the Champions League, be some sort of run for the Coppa Italia. We are ticking all of those boxes at the moment. Beating Liverpool at Anfield was huge, and to be able to do that, I got a little bit of paint on my hands, so I've been painting today. But look, and we're still in the run for the Scudetto. So look, I think he has done an absolutely fantastic job. And hey, boys, it's not too late. You can get on the Inter bus. All right, we're heading the right way. We're heading to the Scudetto.
Oh man, classic, good stuff there from Jaxon. Man, people need to remember at the start of the season, Inter was tasked with exactly what he said, with making the top 4 comfortably, challenging for the league, and making a decent run in a cup competition, and also breaking out of the group stages of the Champions League, which is exactly what we have done. If we can get to the Coppa Italia final and get to the last couple of days in the league and challenge, that was the biggest deal for me. We had done too much in this particular Serie A campaign to bomb out on match day 30-31 in this fashion. Hopefully these 3 points for Inter against Juventus, which were huge, propel us in the right direction over the next couple of games, which I bet is Verona in the next fixture, which is not easy. Then away to Spezia, and we got Roma coming up straight after that. So it's going to be just as tough as any other fixture list. But you know what? I have confidence that the ragazzi can get themselves into a position where come match day 37-38, we are still within striking distance of the league title. That's good enough for me. The next fan cam is coming from our boy Michael. We love Michael coming in, facing the music, telling it exactly how it is from a Juventus point of view. He makes a great fan cam and a great point. Big love out to Michael. You've got the floor, man.
Thanks for having me back, Anthony. Yeah, we'll jump straight into it. So we'll talk about Inter and Juve, the game that we just had on Monday, whether you live in Australia, or Sunday, whether you live in Europe or elsewhere. First and foremost, would like to say I feel that Juventus could come out with a lot after that game. We really put Inter to their final wires, and they resorted to playing relegation football, what I like to call, very defensive and, you know, more like a park the buck style of defending that you would see Jose Mourinho do with Tottenham Hotspurs. So, we really pushed them to their limits, and unfortunately, with the help of the ref, they were able to get on top of us. But we can't just obviously give the referee credit. We do have to give their defense credit. They have been absolutely incredible this year. Skriniar has been probably the best centre back in the Serie A, and Bastoni, even though he's cheeky, he's grabbing, players' foots and pulling him and this and that. We have to give him credit. He's going to be a great young player, and I think they've got a lot of future in the defence, but their attack, not so much. I think they're going to struggle in a couple of years if they don't make a couple of signings, because that void that Lukaku's left has really started to open themselves up. About us, boys, I think that, these decisions that didn't go our way affected us a bit too much. Obviously, they should have had a red card. It was clear as day that Lautaro should have either been red carded for the first challenge on Locatelli or the second one on Chiellini, I think it was. Those were both reckless and probably should have been dealt with a lot more care from the referee. And as for the penalty not given to Zakaria, I thought that was another absolute shambles of a refereeing decision. And I feel like the Milanisti got, I feel like we're due for an apology by the FIGC. And also, I feel like that referee should be suspended. You can't be making those decisions and having players health at risk, just like Locatelli's had. Now he's going to be out for 4 weeks and not cop any punishment for your complacency and your delusional well-being. Like, I just don't understand how you can get away with something as minuscule as that. And I just feel like we can bounce back from this. We won't be fighting for the title. I didn't think we would be either, but I feel like we can really push for next year and build on this. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mick, man. Little bit dramatic, in my opinion, about forcing an apology from the league. But hey, it wouldn't surprise me to see that ref get suspended, because these days, that's what it's all about in Italy. Have a couple of bad decisions and then get suspended with pay and then come back and referee the same games 3 months later. That's the Italian way of things. And until it changes on a much broader level, as we've all mentioned on this channel, and everybody on every channel is pretty much mentioning that I listen to, and every podcast, the game in Italy really does need to change. Juve, I do think they'll bounce back in their next couple of games. They'll win against Cagliari, and we'll see what happens after that with them. I just want to echo just once again, Zakaria. He was really, really good, and I think he's got a lot to offer you guys next season. But thank you so much to Michael for the fan cam. Let's go over to the other side of Rome. Great game for Ciro Immobile and Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, who, man, how consistent is that guy? He's been the best midfielder in the league for about 5-6 years now. It's crazy. His price tag is the most consistent high price tag I've seen in Serie A. The guy peaked at 100 M's and is still probably sitting at about 70, 80 M's 5 years later. It's absolutely crazy. He would be the number one signing for anybody at the top of the list. But if you're going to put faith in Maurizio Sarri, Lotito, you can't take away that sort of chess piece. It's always going to be a Milinkovic-Savic and Immobile project under Sarri and Lotito until the very, very last moments, in my opinion. But great win for them. 2-1 against Sassuolo. Sassuolo, who are going to continue their run fluctuating in the mid-table part of the season. But for Lazio, still sniffing around. 52 competition points after 31 games. They're 7 points outside the top 4. They might still be telling each other that they've got a slight chance. We don't think so. 7 points in 7 games. It's not going to happen. But a Europa League spot, because we've got to remember the way it's dividended out, the top 4 positions in Serie A go to the Champions League. Only position 5 goes to the Europa League. You miss out on position 5, it's automatic Conference League in number 6. No European spots in number 7. In my opinion, the number 6 position needs to be the most avoided position in Italy. The last thing you want is Conference League. You'd rather bow out altogether and just play Italian football the next season. I would even almost say the same about the Europa League. We did say it for a long time. Huyan comes in. What's going on, man? It's good to see you here. We got 7 people with us now, which is nice. Rob coming in as well. Good to see you here, bro. Make sure you're checking out Rob and the rest of the boys on their podcast as well. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, so Lazio, in my opinion, they'll probably keep around that 5th and 6th spot. As I said earlier, Atalanta to drop out for me. They've been so disappointing. They've got a game in hand, and even with their game in hand, they won't even get into 5th now. They won't even get into 5th now. It's just been a disappointing run from Gasperini and his men. So, yeah. Next game, Fiorentina getting the points, 1-0 against Empoli. Decent result for them. And I'm a big fan of Nico Gonzalez. He grabbed the goal, and I just think he's having a really, really good season. Fiorentina in 8th spot, 30 games played, 50 points. They'll definitely still think that they can get a shot at the European spots. And after losing Vlahovic, I really, really think that they've done a good job. They've done a really good job. Rob says, oh, no, I've already read that comment. But yeah, make sure you're checking out Rob and his boys on the It's a Football Thing podcast. Some Aussie boys doing good stuff. Do you think Lazio is cashing in on SMS? Dude, I just said I think as long as it's a Sarri project under Lotito, they're not cashing in on SMS or Immobile. I think they build the entire project around them for as long as possible. But yeah, big ups to Fiorentina for that particular result, and Nico Gonzalez having an absolutely fantastic campaign. Belotti bags the points for Torino against Salernitana, who we can all pretty much say now will definitely be relegated 100 million%, even if it wasn't done before. They're going to need to come up with 10 or 11 points in their next 9 fixtures to escape the drop, and it's just not going to happen for them because they're not good enough. Serie B, I don't know if anybody follows it this season, but it's ridiculously competitive. So Salernitana, they're going to have their hands full next season in Serie B, trying to get back up. It might have been a good time and not a long time in the top stint of Serie A, because I don't know if they'll be coming back after this for a while. It's going to be tough. Rob, Juve fan, says, well done on the derby win, by the way. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Very nice of you. And, this one was a heartbreaker for Venezia. 94th minute goal for Spezia to make sure that they've got the points now going into the next part of the season, which is the last few games. And Spezia have 32 competition points as opposed to Venezia, who have 22 competition points. That's a 10-point gap in safety from 15th to 18th. Spezia are going to survive the drop. It's going to take something catastrophic for them to miss out now. They were my pick to come last. I picked them last this season. They have survived the drop, in my opinion, already by Matchday 31. It's a big effort from Thiago Motta and his boys. So they're gonna pocket a spot in Serie A again next season. Well done to Spezia. They're the surprise of the campaign for me so far. Gerald says Lazio should cash in on Milinkovic-Savic. They should know they're being a toxic boyfriend or girlfriend. He keeps staying though, man. That takes 2 to tango. Why does he keep sticking around? Why doesn't he try and force a move? That's pretty much it. That's pretty much all we're going to have time for today, guys. There was one other result. The Udinese 5, pumping Cagliari 1. Betu, what a player. Could he earn a transfer somewhere soon? Because he bagged a hat-trick. Udinese obviously will be safe with 33 competition points and a couple of games in hand. Cagliari still sitting in safety, but right on the brink, knowing that Venezia, if they were to win an unlikely game in hand, probably not likely, they're 5 losses on the bounce, will be able to tie up with Cagliari. Let's hope that Cagliari can put in a really big performance against Juve next week for their sake and for everyone else's sake besides Juventini. Thanks, Gerald, for coming through. Rob, Hoyan, Ahmed as well. Thanks for creating a little chat for the Serie A Roundtable, which was Matchday 31. Another thank you to my friends, Michael, Jaxon, Adam, friends of the channel. Thank you for contributing your fan cams. If anybody else would ever like to get involved and contribute those sort of fan cams, you know where to find us on Football Worldwide and Inter Worldwide. My name is Anthony. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week or next time. Ciao.